Dear one, welcome to this series of the 7 vital principles of a yoga asana practice. We are on number 5, and this principle is all about connecting and connection. So noticing the two opposite parts and how they are connected. So this is like expanding duality to the furthest ends. So if you go up, notice what is down. If you go down, notice what is up. If you go left, notice what is right, and vice versa. So expanding also means really concentrating inward. Having a steady core can allow you to expand much more. So the first direction is the arrow, the second direction is the bow, and between them is the connection. If the connection is not there, the arrow cannot go anywhere. So every body part between these two furthest parts is one unit. It's not segmented off, or it's not compartmentalized, even though the brain likes to make it so. All parts work together in harmony, like a chain floating in space. So don't put additional pressure and tension and stretching onto this. If the links of the chain is not touching each other, but the chain is strong, that's what we want. So we don't want these two chain links just rubbing against each other and really pulling hard onto each other. So they should be like floating in space, steady, but no force. And the more each part is distinct in this harmony and the connection, the more the connection of the body remains stable and extremely solid in its foundation of this. So the body in any situation is in awareness from the one opposite end to the other. So from here, let's just close our eyes, soften our gaze. And from the tailbone to the crown of the head, notice all the vertebrae and spaces in between. Instead of slouching or plucking the chest open, just dignified and proud. Between the left and the right shoulder, see that chain floating strongly. And on the next inhale, reaching the hands all the way up. Exhale, grounding it down into the heart space. With our hands hovering over the hub of our heart, we open ourselves up to receive what is of highest relevance in this moment. So it might be. Humbly bowing the head down towards the inner teacher. So from here, we're going to start by bringing the one leg out to the side and the opposite leg out to the other side. If you need to raise your hips onto a block, please feel free. You're having some awareness and activation in the feet, pushing the knees a little bit into the mat, tucking the tailbone and lengthening through the spine. Arms goes straight parallel over the legs here. We're going to inhale, reach over towards the left side, and then take the bicep closer to the ear as you reach hand up and overhead. Take a deep breath here into the chest. And as you exhale, connecting the rib cage closer together. Two more deep breaths here. Inhale, coming all the way back to center. Now just noticing the right foot being as far away from the left as possible in this body right now. Everything in between is steady and in the same chain. And from there, leaning over towards the right side and slowly taking the left hand up and overhead, bicep towards the ear. Ground both sit bones equally into the mat. And take 3 deep breaths into the chest. And as you exhale, concentrate your awareness in the front center where the ribcage meets. Inhale brings you all the way back. Bringing both hands down onto the floor. Now slowly lean forward. Walk the hands as far as possible. Stay where you feel the limitation of your body is. Drop down the elbows if possible. Taking 3 deep breaths here. Next inhale brings you all the way back up, walking the hands closer towards the hips here. Now from there, the left leg stays exactly where it is. We're bending the right leg in towards the perineum, coming into a half dragonfly. Then inhale, arms up. Exhale, float forward. Both sit bones stays grounded into the mat. Push the sit bones back onto the fingertips here, and 3 deep breaths. After those 3 deep breaths, walking the fingertips closer together, just release this foot a little bit away from the perineum. Now from there, you're going to bend into this left leg, place the knee in towards the sole of the opposite foot, coming into deer legs. Now from these legs, you're going to open up the chest towards the side. It's okay that this left hip is lifting. Drop the hands down. Feel the connection. The chain is starting to twist here, but don't over twist. The chains and the links between this chain should not be touching, but strong and steady. Deep breaths into the chest. Exhale, the focus becomes where the rib cage meets in the front. And from there, releasing, coming all the way back to center. Activate into your core muscles here. And we're going to just ground down the bottom half of our body, lifting the hips all the way up. And from there, sitting it all the way back down. Beautiful. So now what we do is we take the left leg in. We take the right leg out to the side, if this is possible, as close to the hip as we can. Coming into deer legs on the opposite side. Opening up the chest towards the other side. If the right hip lifts, that's perfectly okay. Drop the hands down, bloom the chest sidewards. And breathing into the chest fully, deeply 3 times. Feel the connection between the right pinky toe and the left pinky finger. And everything in between. On the next exhale, slowly rotating, coming back onto both sit bones. Ground the bottom half of your legs into the floor, just lifting it up. And coming to sit back down. Keep this left leg bent and straighten into the right leg. Bring the leg closer, or the heel closer to the perineum. Both your sit bones are grounded into the mat equally. Now inhale, reach the hands up, pivot from the hip, come forward. Once you have reached the limit of your hips here, drop the hands down and let's take 3 deep breaths. Beautiful, walking the hands closer together. Keep this leg in. Bring the other leg to meet in our Bandha Konasana or butterfly position. Clasp both the hands and place them underneath the feet. Straighten through the spine. Again, rooting down through the hips and the sit bones and noticing how every vertebra can represent a link in this chain between the sit bones and the crown of the head. Connection, unity. Unity does not mean sameness. There is still differentiation in this oneness. And release. Taking both legs over towards the one side, coming to sit on the heels. Okay, so from here we're going to move into a flow. And I just want you to become aware that it's not always the furthest extremities of our limbs that is the furthest parts away from each other in a posture. So the next flow that we're going to do, the chest is going to be the top point and the legs or the feet is going to be the lowest point. So finding that and the connection between all of that as we go along. So from here you grab hold of the ankles and you drop the head low. If you know that your back bend or you shouldn't, the front extension or doing back bend, if that's too harsh for your lower back, then from here you can even start to tuck the toes. So from here, we're going to leave the left hand, scoop it all the way forward and start lifting the hips. Move it all the way to the back. And exhale, creating a big circular motion, coming all the way back. Keep holding onto the left heel, right hand, slide, scoops over. And coming all the way back. One more time to each side. Inhale, slide and scoop. Exhale, coming back. Still breathing into the chest here. Inhale, right hand releases. And coming all the way back. Staying down for 3 deep breaths. Surrendering, relaxing deeper and deeper. Next inhalation brings us all the way back, coming onto the knees, and from there lean the weight into the left leg as you reach the right leg forward. Tuck the back toe as we come into our low lunge. So the connection between the two, now the left toes and the right toes is the furthest part away from each other in this posture. In order for us to keep the links in space and not rubbing against each other, we need to pull the back of the right leg and the front of the left knee closer together. So it's an activation, and it's also not going to allow your hips to just flop down. So from there, we inhale, reach the hands high up. Breathing into the chest here. 2 more times. On the next exhale, drop down the left hand, keep the right hand high, coming into a slight spinal twist. One more deep breath into the chest. And next inhale, bringing your arms parallel to the floor, drop the right hand onto the left leg and reach the left arm high up into the sky. Keep the connection in awareness. If you're slouching or collapsing, bring awareness there. One more deep breath into the chest. And the next exhale, bringing your hands all the way back, cupcake those fingers, and bring the left leg all the way back. Drop the hands, wiggle into the hips, deep breath into the nose, exhale out the mouth. Beautiful. One more to go. Now from there, we're stepping the left leg in between the hands here. If you need to move the knee a little bit further back, making sure that the left knee is over the left ankle here. And again, you're pulling the back of your left ankle and the right knee, almost like you're pulling them closer together in order for the hips not to sink and the links not to touch each other in this connection. Then we reach the hands high up into the sky, taking 3 deep breaths here. Into the chest, front, center, rib cage, meet your awareness and concentration on the exhale. On the next exhale, you're dropping your right hand down and reaching your left hand up to the sky. Don't lose that connection. 3 deep breaths. And from there, coming all the way back up. Hands are parallel to the floor now, reaching the left hand onto the right leg and reaching the right arm way up high. 3 deep breaths. Beautiful. Bringing both hands down and taking this left leg back, wiggling into the hips. 2 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful. So last, really a heart opener here. Please check in with the flexibility of your body. If you have props, use them. You can either come to sit in your hero seat where your heels are on the outside of your hips. If this is too much, you can also come into a Bandha Konasana, and then from there, check to see how far you can go down. Maybe it's just on the arms while dropping the head back, or maybe you can come all the way down onto the floor. Hands up and overhead, bending into the elbows, grabbing hold of those elbows. Again, you're doing yoga on your body, so please be mindful and be kind. We are here for 5 deep breaths, feeling the connection. Feel the connection and links between your knees and your elbows. On the exhale, pull your rib cage closer together in that front center point. And after the 5 deep breaths, releasing your hands. And if you can, releasing your legs. Keep the knees bent and the heels close to the buttocks here. Just a sigh of relief, straightening into the legs, coming into a relaxation posture. Your next inhale is inviting awareness, energy, attentiveness. The body slowly starts to move, inviting yourself back into a seated position here. Keep the gaze soft, the eyes closed. Hands over the hub of the heart once again. I thank you for allowing me to guide us through our practice. Thank you for joining this series and number 5 of the Vital Principles. Until next time, Namaste, dear one.